Hey, Dawn, how's it going? Are you still connected? Hey, Dawn, how's it going?
Going good.
Good.
I'm plenty early, so I'll go find my mute piece.
Okay,
All right, later.
we'll get started. Thanks. Dawn, how's it going? How's it going?
Going good. Good. I thought about coming up there, but I thought, oh, I'm too lazy to drive up there.
Nope, you'll be good.
Linda wants me to head out as soon as I can. We normally walk 3 miles about this time of day. So find my mute piece.
Okay,
All right, later.
we'll get started. Thanks. How's it going? How's it going?
Going good. Good. I thought about coming up there, but I thought, oh, I'm too lazy to drive up there.
Nope, you'll be good.
Linda wants me to head out as soon as I can. We normally walk 3 miles about this time of day.
Okay,
All right, later.
we'll get started. Thanks. How's it going?
Going good. Good. I thought about coming up there, but I thought, oh, I'm too lazy to drive up there.
Nope, you'll be good.
Linda wants me to head out as soon as I can. We normally walk 3 miles. Hey, Aaron.
Yeah,
I'm just doing a loop of a conversation.
I know. We're gonna try to figure it out here.
All right, later.
Okay, I think we got it fixed. All right, that's why I got Travis here.
Hi there.
Hello.
One of these days we'll get it installed on the new one.
Hi.
Hi. We are live on YouTube, so we're just getting everybody loaded on and we'll go from there. Hey, Tim, we're just getting going here a little bit. Got the link up on YouTube, so waiting
All
on
right,
one or
good.
two more and we'll get there.
Can you hear me this time?
Yes, sir, I can.
Perfect.
Hi, Kathy. We're gonna get started here in a couple minutes. Okay, everybody. Gonna get started here. It's 6:30. This is going up on YouTube, so just remember to mute yourself or unmute yourself. I've got Dwayne is here in my office, and Janet is here, and Travis luckily is here and has already bailed us out on the technology. So we didn't have the looping conversation, Don. So Tina, I'll just turn it over to you.
Okay, well, I'm going to call this meeting to order, and I want to welcome everybody. We're going to start with the flag salute, and we've got the flag right here. So we'll stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, guys. Janet, you've got roll call taken.
Yep, she's good.
Okay. Do we have any? We don't have any guests to introduce.
Nope.
So we'll move on to item number 4, the consent agenda. Are there any questions on the financials? Denise, you want to review?
Well, I move the consent agenda at this point.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, was motion by Don, seconded by Tim to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Denise, do you want to review?
Does anyone have any questions? No questions?
I don't see any questions.
We're going to use this ending fund balance probably for our projected budget when we meet at our budget hearing going forward. And I think the month is rolling along. It was a little bit quieter than normal. And I think that's probably it, unless you have questions.
Okay, no questions. Okay, thank you, Denise. We're going to move on. Did we have any citizens' comments submitted? No citizens' comments. So we're going to move to action item number 7, which is 7.1, which is the 2021 school calendar.
Yes. So had a really good group of staff come together and look at the school calendar. I'm excited about a couple things that are on the school calendar that I'd point out that were staff suggestions and were easy, let's do it situations. The first one is we're going to, especially this year, the first day of school, 6th graders will go to Central, and 7th and 8th graders will be staying home that day, similar to what we do with freshmen at Mac High. Gives those 6th graders an opportunity to see the campus, and usually in 5th grade, we take them over for a day, and they're missing that this year. So that's something staff has wanted to do, and so we're going to do that. That'll be a real good use of time, I believe. The second thing was something that came up during the conversations, and that was in March, our parent-teacher conference. Staff, identified trying to get a hold of parents as much as possible. And really the time in between 4 and 8 o'clock in the evening is the time that we hit the most parents. We get the most people through the door. And so years ago, when I was a teacher at Mac High, we tried this and it worked really well. And that is that instead of March 8th of doing conferences on that Monday, the week before, on both Tuesday and Thursday evenings from 4 to 8, we'll do conferences. And then on that Monday, we will have no school. So no staff will be there. So it's kind of trading those days. And so I really appreciate staff looking at that, we had a survey that went out, and staff were positive for that. So it's a big deal. The other caveat that I think we can all understand is that this is our plan. You'll notice that we start with students on the 31st of August, and everybody in the doors on the 1st of September. I like starting after Labor Day, but this year Labor Day is really late into September, so we couldn't do that. This puts us out, excuse me, June 10th is the last day for kids. And of course, if things change in the state, then we'll make adjustments. There are lots of conversations all over the nation about what next fall looks like for education. And they are all over the place. And so, kind of where I land on that is we still have a couple weeks of school left this year. We're going to do the best that we can do through the rest of the year. And then we'll tackle next year as it gets closer. But we're thinking about it. I think every parent is too. Take them all back. Any questions regarding the calendar?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Claudia.
So I'm looking at the calendar and I see when 1st through 6th, then kinders and 7, 8, 10 through 12. When are freshmen starting?
They start the 31st as well.
Okay.
So it would be the freshmen and 6th graders would start the same days at those two buildings.
Okay. It's just not, it's not on the calendar, so I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. It's so where it is, it's on that August, it's that bottom block. It says first day, 1st through 6th.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Any other questions? Good.
So do I have a motion to approve the calendar?
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the calendar, school calendar for 2021 as presented.
Okay, there's been,
Second.
who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, thank you, Tim. It's been moved and seconded by Dwayne and Tim to approve the 2021 school calendar as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, looks like it's unanimous. Everybody approved. 7.2 substitute pay rate. Aaron?
The state rate changed, so we move along with that state rate.
Okay.
I move to adopt the state established substitute pay rate of $189.32 per day for the 2020-2021 school year.
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Kathy, seconded by Kelly to approve the state established substitute rate of $189.32 per day for the 2021 school year. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we'll go for the vote. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed, motion carries. Moving down to 7.3 personnel, extra duty contract.
We opened the head football coach position, I think 3 months ago. And we went through and had great applicants for that position. Interviewed finally here in the last couple weeks, and George Estrada accepted that position and definitely was recommended by the committee that interviewed. So George was the middle school head coach last year, pretty much doubled the size of that program in 1 year. Has been heavily involved in the youth football program. He was assistant coach at the high school last year as well. So yeah, a really good asset to the MACI team. Excited, kids are excited to have him.
I see the Union Bulletin already says he was hired, so I don't think we don't need action since the UB's already approved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I move to accept that particular hire, or however it's stated on the agenda, which isn't in front of me.
Okay.
Second.
So it was moved by Don and seconded by Tim to approve the 2021 extra duty contract as presented. Any further questions? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll go for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed. Motion carries. 7.3 resignations. Aaron?
So we've got one teacher, Kim Kamzan, was on a halftime position. So she was teaching part of the day. And then we had another teacher that was teaching the other part of the day. The other teacher is retiring, and Kim wanted to move on to another opportunity.
Okay.
I move to accept the letter of resignation as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Claudia, seconded by Kathy to approve the letter of resignation as presented. Any further questions? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. 7.4 radon removal. Aaron.
So we had done radon testing, as you remember, earlier in the year. That's one of the requirements. We're about a year ahead of that as far as the Oregon requirements. We had a couple locations that were higher than what the state maximum was. We received 2 bids, and this was Alpha Environmental had the lower of the bids. We also contacted several districts that had them do work in the past who were all positive with the work that was done. So I recommend approving Alpha Environmental for the work. The side note with that is we were thinking this wouldn't be able to happen until July. They're able to mobilize and would be able to be here as soon as next week.
That's great. I move to accept the bid from Alpha Environmental for radon removal as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. It moved by Kathy, seconded by Claudia to accept the bid from Alpha Environmental for radon removal. Any further questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to 7.5 grants.
So I will admit this was right before the Corona shutdown, and the 5th grade got to go to BizTown, which is an amazing experience. This is a facility where you walk in and it's literally shops. They've created a fake town. It has a McDonald's where the kids eat at.
Wow.
It has all these businesses, and the kids come in with a script and they've already done pre-work. The 5th grade teaching team did a lot of pre-work with them. They walk in and one person's the manager, one person's like the accountant, one person might be the salesperson. They have to run a credit card machine. They have to apply for a loan through the bank for their business. They get paid. When they get paid, they get paid 4 times during the day. They can buy things, I mean, real things. But one of the things also that they get to buy is lunch, which is real chicken nuggets that was there at McDonald's that they brought in. It's really an amazing opportunity. And I really appreciate Community Bank stepped up and they offered to pay for the entire thing. That's $2,565.
That's awesome.
Great.
They also sent 2 representatives, Sam Vinty Copeland, who's a Mackay graduate, came, and so did Sarah Zesson, who's also a Mackay graduate. You know, they both came, and it was neat to. They really enjoyed themselves too. I'd have to say it was a great experience. Those kids came away with a lot. So appreciate Community Bank's support.
Cool.
Move to accept the grant as presented.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Okay, so Dwayne moved to the motion, and I believe Tim seconded it to accept the grant as presented. Any further questions? No. Okay, we're going to go for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thumbs up on everybody. All those opposed? None. Motion carries. We are going to move on to 8.1 Superintendent's Report.
So we've got a couple things going on. We sent out some information to senior parents today announcing graduation plans. You know, we'd waited till the last minute to figure out what we were going to be able to do and what we wouldn't be able to do. And after the last set of directions from the governor, it became apparent that even if we put off and delayed graduation, that wasn't going to be an opportunity. So we brought together a couple students. We had 2 students on the committee. We had a parent that was on the committee, and we had 2 teachers on the committee. Talked about different ideas and options, and what came about, I think, is a pretty neat idea, to be quite honest with you, considering the times. There's going to be a lot more details that'll come out in the next week or so. Mackay, they're all looking at that. What will happen pretty much is it'll be a drive-through graduation. So each graduate will have a car filled with their parents, and I'm guessing the cars will be decorated. They'll line up in a spot, and we've talked to the city. We're going to shut down the block in front of Mackay. We'll set up right now. We're talking about something like 3 stages in front of Mackay, so it'll be pretty picturesque. The thing we need to remember is this is the 99th graduating class from that building. The stages will be set up in front, and I'm gonna ask here in a little bit if anybody board member wise would like to be there to hand out diplomas. We'll have a staging area for the cars, and then we'll have a chalk area where the student will get out of the car, go up on the stage safely with 6 feet, get their diploma case. And folks can get out of their car or stay in their car and stay in that little area, take a picture. We'll also have some photographers there. Their names will be announced over the speaker system there. And then they'll get back in the car. And then really appreciate the city, both Linda and Chief of Police Doug. We talked about the other option that I think will probably happen would be that they would go on a drive, a determined route. Won't be a parade, so we won't have to shut down traffic, but if they follow all the traffic laws, it'd be a pre-designed route. And community, teachers, grandparents, folks that couldn't stuff into that car will be able to be on that route to cheer them on. So a lot of details to work through, and we'll get through them. But I think with everything, you know, part of my message has been I want them to be able to walk across the stage. I think that's important. And we're going to get some pretty neat pictures and be able to have them in their caps and gowns. So excited to see how that'll work. So that's kind of how graduation is going to be looking. And you don't need to answer me now, but if you can get a hold of me this week sometime, if you're interested in being a part of that, please let me know. So
Aaron, is there any way that we can do like the virtual broadcast so that it can be going on even if people aren't in that area?
Yeah, that's
or like with the speeches and such.
So they've got a plan for the speeches.
Okay.
They'll be pre-recorded. They've got a good plan for that, and then we'll do a live broadcast. We're still working through how that's going to work.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that'll be part of it. So.
Okay.
We've got some situations where, you know, we've got some grandparents or aunts and uncles that aren't able to leave the state that they're in or aren't able to come. So it should be, considering the circumstances, a pretty good deal. We have opened a TOSA position at the high school to cover the VP AD roles for next year. Be a 1-year position, internal. So it'd be a good opportunity for somebody to see what admin work is a little bit like, and a good opportunity for us to take advantage. And we've got several people in the district that are very capable of doing something like that for a year for a position. And so another thing, just to let you know, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the union involving staff evaluations. kind of a different deal. You know, we do have evaluations all the way up pretty much to the end, and that's not possible right now. So made evaluations as if they ended March 13th for probationary staff, and evaluations will be suspended for non-probationary and classified staff and all licensed staff for the first year. So going through that. We are holding off on hiring until June. Want to look at and see how the budget comes in from the state. Want to see what we have internally that can move from position to position, and kind of see how that'll move forward. May 20th is still the timeline that the state is going to come out, is scheduled to come out with their economic forecast. I think I said last month, that'll be one indicator. I don't believe that we'll have a true indicator until the fall about what this means. If you've listened to the news, Governor Brown has definitely told state programs to prepare for large cuts. We're not sure yet exactly what that's going to look like for education, because there are some reserves, there are some other areas of money that we're looking at. We also received some federal dollars to offset some of that, and we're not sure yet. We believe that we have a plan as far as how we can utilize those dollars, but we need to make sure before we move forward on those. But we've gone through some reserves this year with some with some declining enrollment, and we'll have some issues coming up next year if things don't pop up in a big way. But we also have some, Denise and I have been working on plans that are just preliminary, what different numbers would look like. Some of them make me throw up and some of them don't. So, but I do think that we have some things going for us that other districts don't. So while we've got some things that I'd love to not have, we also have some things that we're going to be all right in some places. So, and we'll work together through how that looks like, you know, into the future. One program that some districts are doing is a furlough program, and that program is interesting how it's looking across the state, what districts are and are not going to do that program. And it's not going to be 50-50, I don't think. I don't know what it'll be. Right now, it's much less than 50-50 that are doing that program. What the program in a nutshell does, or the Oregonian did an article on it. But you can furlough a day, and unlike usually in the past, my experience as being a teacher, that you have a cut day, you don't draw unemployment from that. This you would, so you'd get a partially paid from the state of Oregon for that time. But then you would also get the $600 a week from the federal COVID dollars. So if you read the Oregonian article, you could, in fact, according to them, work less and be paid more. The caveat that I would say is I don't know an educator right now that's not putting in, 6-7 days a week trying to figure out how to do online school. I also, though, have some reservations with that program. If we have staff that are getting paid more and working less, that's a public image that I don't know that we want to be pushing out there. Also, part of that paperwork or form is how many employees this is going to save from being let go or laid off. So for instance, Portland Public's put down something like 66 employees that this would save. As of right now, we're not planning on laying off any employees this year. So I wouldn't be able to fill that form out. I think ethically but that's something that's happening. And some districts are going to be doing that. I'm not aware of any in Umatilla, Morrill County. I'm aware of 3 in Union County or Baker County that are going to be doing that because of different situations. So, yeah. We are still operating on a limited expenses. So if we need it, then we're making purchases. But if we can do without, then we're doing without. We do have a budget meeting May 28th at 6 p.m. And we'll be talking probably this week. Denise and I will be about how the format of that'll go, whether it'll be like this in a Zoom meeting or if we'll have maybe one room available at Central or something like that, just with significantly more people. We'll look at that, see how that works, and get back to the board and to the budget committee. Any questions that anybody has?
I heard a rumor that we're still having baccalaureate.
Well, baccalaureate is a non-school district event.
Oh, okay. Well, just asking.
Yep. And that's what I talked to a couple senior parents. I said it's a non-school district event.
Mhm.
We usually provide a space.
Right.
This year we're not providing a space. So really, I mean, do what you
Their
want.
call. Okay.
It's your call. So
There you go.
yep. I know the senior parents have come up with some really very interesting ideas about how to help move along seniors and take advantage of some things. And I say very interesting in a very positive way. They've got a couple ideas that I have asked Umatilla County Health about. Just that's what I said. Hey, let's just ask before we get in trouble. But they've got some really ingenious, I think, ideas on how to help still support seniors and make it still something.
Good. The building over there looks really good now that it's gone and the fence is up. It looks all nice and pretty.
Yep, those portables being out of there, I've actually received a couple messages about that, thanking us for taking those out. Don Jackson did a great job with that.
Mhm.
It won't probably show up on a donation, but he donated a bunch of gravel to make sure that whole parking lot was all nicely graveled. And Craig and Mike and the maintenance crew did a good job of putting out the concrete bumpers. So looks 100% better.
It looks
You'll
really
see
good.
one other thing. We've been working on bleachers over at Shockman. We had those already sitting in Salid that we're going to go up this summer. So those have gone up. We put up poles that we had to go up at Grove because at some point we will be able to play soccer, and we're going to have some netting up on both the east and west end so that we're good to our neighbors as much as we can with balls flying all over. I'd also say if you drive around, like Ferndale's received a lot of paint to their playground equipment. The maintenance crews in these buildings have done a great job of jumping on things and working forward. So that's been neat to see. And I think too, all staff have done a great job. We're serving a lot of kids meals every day. And we've got teachers and parapros that are doing some amazing things for kids. I can speak personally about that. My kids have gotten to do, I think, some neat things online. So I think staff are doing a great job. We've been joking that we're kind of getting into a rhythm, and then school's going to be out. Everybody's going to kind of have it figured out, and then school's out. But we've also talked about the fact that we're learning new things that we will be, no matter what next year looks like, we'll be using those new technologies and new things in classrooms. So I think that's a positive. I think staff are looking for positives.
Have we given any thought to the fact that the end of September is after the start? So if we still can't have school at that point, any idea what we're going to do? I know that College Place is looking at rolling over their teachers. So kindergarten through 4th grade will then become 2nd through 5th grade and keep their same kids, so that trying to minimize the disruption to them and trying to figure new things out.
I had not heard that idea. There's several ideas that have come out from the state. There's also some conversation, to be quite honest, about if you look at K-5 and the economy, If you want to open the economy back up, you got to have some place for those kids to go. And so K-5 would need to open up some way. There's conversations about an A-B schedule. There's conversations about you would have school, but no lunchroom, no gymnasium. So kids would have to eat lunch, you know, in their classrooms. There's a lot of speculation. I think what we will see, I believe in June, is more of a solid plan that will move forward from there about how it'll open up. You know, there's also conversations about sports. You know, in Oregon, we're going to open up county by county. We don't play sports county by county. We play them, you know, by size of district. So there's some problems that are going to come up with that next year in the fall, and OSAA is already looking at options. So I fully believe that we will start school next fall. I also fully believe that it will be different than how we started school this fall. I have no idea how that's going to be. But I come back to the regional superintendent meetings have been very valuable. We have folks that are on state committees looking into things, whether that be from OSAA, from the sports side of things, or academic side of things, transportation side of things. And then state superintendent meetings have also been valuable. We are not going to be in this by ourselves. And so that's the other thing is to kind of remember is how we're going to work as a team. My saying, I think I learned it when I was an ag teacher. I'm sure Dawn didn't learn this, but you know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just add a spoke to it. And I'm good with that. You know, we got some bigger districts that have the capacity to reinvent the wheel in the fall, and they'll have, you know, 5 different ways of doing it. And then we'll grab them and we'll add a new spoke to it and go down the road, and it'll be even better. So that's kind of what I know what next fall is going to look like.
Does anybody else have any other questions? No? Okay. We don't have any discussion or new business? None?
I do want to take a second to thank Aaron for keeping his 20 minutes down to more like 15.
I worked on it. I really did.
Yeah. Good
So
meeting. Thank you.
If there's no more board requests or reports, hearing none, we're going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you guys all for coming. And we'll see you at the budget meeting. And if not there, we'll see you at the next June meeting on the 15th at 6:30. And I suspect it will be another Zoom meeting. So thank you guys all for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.